Hello everybody and welcome back to Daybreak Coins. So today I'm going to be doing a kind of market recap of the fund show. So I just got back not too long ago. Recorded this about a week ago from when that it happened. So they gave out these commemorative tokens, just something kind of cool. But yeah, so I'll kind of be talking about what I went for, what I saw, and kind of how it compares to last year. So these are kind of the stuff that I bought for myself. I bought some other stuff. Some is sold, some is not sold. But yeah, we'll kind of get right into it. So starting off, I got this French EQ. This one is from 1786. Louis the 16th. So this is a pretty nice crown size coin. I got it for a good price. I only paid $40 for it. Some older guy was selling a whole bunch of stuff out of Roboxes. All of them had terrible PVC damage, but this one didn't, and it was pretty cheap. So I picked that one up. I guess kind of on to what I saw at the show. So there's definitely a lot more ancient collectors or ancient dealers. A lot of overpriced stuff, for sure. There was one dealer that did a lot of nicer Byzantine stuff, but definitely a lot of really overpriced ancients that I saw. So here's another. Here's a Trebizond Empire. This is an Asper. Get the horse on the back. Definitely a lot more younger people than last year. So I went for the first time last year. Lots more younger people, it seemed like. Or maybe I was just a little bit more aware of it, which is always, a good thing. A lot of younger kids, and especially a lot of them that were dealing as well. So it's kind of interesting to see. A lot of money being thrown around. Here is a Parthian Dram. You can see the seated archer on the reverse. But overall, the show was pretty good. It wasn't raining like it was last year. Last year, the building was leaking, which was quite unfortunate for some of the dealers. Here's a bronze coin. You can see this figure on the obverse. And then here's the two figures on the reverse. This is actually a Arab imitation of a Constantine X Phallus. This one is Nur al-Din Mahmud. And this is from the Zengids, which were kind of a little bit more eastern on the Byzantine Empire. Let me see if I have a example of the Constantine Phallus on hand really quick. I do, actually. Here it is. I got this one recently in a group lot, but this is actually an official issue. And over here is kind of that sorry, the imitative issue. So you can see it's fairly similar. You got the two figures holding the banner with some text. And then on this other side, on the official issue, there's Christ. And on this issue, it looks like they went for that as well. It looks like almost maybe the Nimbit, which is like the halo. So that looks, fairly close. But they were just used as normal currency. They weren't, used for anything special. And, they weren't intentionally made to fool. They just looked similar. Those, kind of what they did back then. Here's Varnes the First. This is a... I got it as a Bi-Dram, but it's fairly close to AE. You can see the seated archer on the reverse. Pretty cool. Starting to get a little bit more into the Parthian stuff. As you're seeing. Here's Elemaeus Kingdom. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce his name, but I lost a Tetradram at auction fairly recently. And I've been looking at one of these types for a while. So I decided to pick this one up. I did meet a couple of people that I knew, so that was good to meet some people. I definitely saw some people that I recognized from last year, so that was always good. Some of the same dealers came, always a good sign. Here's a truth dollar. This is pretty interesting. I bought this from one of the dealers there. Wasn't too familiar with it. I collect dollars and stuff, but wasn't too familiar with the backstory. And I was showing it to a different dealer, because I just walked around the show. And one of the guys that he wanted to show it to actually is a big taller collector as well. And according to him, this kind of design was they were oppressing, I would assume they're the Christians, but the Jesus followers, that they kind of forced them to buy these tallers with all of their silver, and use them in circulation. So just kind of as a big middle finger to the Christian Jesus enjoyers, showing his persecution, which I thought was kind of neat. And especially, not the dealer that I bought it from, but a different dealer that knew more about it. So that was pretty interesting. Here is another Elemaeus Kingdom. This is a bronze tetradrachm. A really, really lovely portrait. He just kind of had this in a big group box. You can see they really kind of had some terrible dye work on the reverse. It's not like, it's a sloppy design. It's like, difficult to even see what they were going for. Generally, this is a head with text around it, or sometimes, you might be able to see it right there. Maybe that's the head and the eyes. But it is that's probably what it is. The eyes, the nose, and there's the head with text over here. But stylistically, somebody woke up on the wrong side of the bed before they even attempted that. But yeah, overall, it was definitely a good show. Definitely a lot of dealers were happy that I talked to with the turnout, even though there were less dealers. But it seemed like a very, very small amount of just bullion people. Last year, it was just bullion, especially foreigners that came in specifically just to buy and sell bullion. And that didn't really seem like the case this year. At least, if I did see him, I walked right past him. So maybe that could also be affect why that is. This one is a pretty nice Syracuse Falls. You can see it really nice. This one is overstruck, so you can see kind of, it's a little bit difficult with the lighting. But you can see here's the M for the phallus, but here is part of the overstrike, I guess the undertype. So this is kind of part of Constan's vest, or it could be Heracles. I'm not too sure. Can't remember off the top of my head. But I just thought that was interesting. Definitely a cut coin that was overstruck, and then, it was restruck with this. So I just thought that was pretty cool. And it's definitely, I do find it very difficult to buy this sort of ancient material because I'm more familiar with it. And, prices are a lot higher at shows like that than you can find elsewhere for similar pieces. So just kind of throwing that out there. Not, the exact same. I bought this probably a little bit before the fun show. I just got it in the mail. But this is a 3 Kreuzer. A very, very nice coin. I got this one really cheap, actually. I collect some of these minor fractional coins. just kind of a really lovely coin. I do have my upgrade, so I already had a type of this. It's a little bit more muted, a little bit more stuff on it. A great example, but it's just an upgrade, and I paid the same price for it. So happy to get that one. And then finally, I've had this one. I got this one in a group lot probably 2 months ago, and I wasn't terribly sure what it was. It looks like you can see this head right here, the beaded hair, the eyes, the nose, and then on this reverse, I'll give you kind of a second if you're familiar with Greek coins to see if you can figure what this is. Just with a quick glance. But it was kind of a difficult task. Let's see if we can get it to focus. I definitely had a heck of a time with this. But so take your guess. So this is the head of Apollo on this side. And on the reverse here, if we can get it to focus, and we orientate it correctly. This is actually kind of the lion, so it's kind of a scalp of the lion. So here's the top of his head. You can see his nose and his cheeks on the side, and then kind of his like lower chin, and then the mouth is the dead space. And figuring that out was very difficult. So you can see here, this is a Tetramartoron, or Tetramorion. It's just a quarter of an oval. Definitely mispronounced that. This is kind of an interesting piece. So I was doing some research into it. I couldn't find any of this exact type, but it's definitely from Caria, which is, kind of the Turkish region that the Greeks were there at the time. And you can see here it's the satraps of Caria, and it's actually from the city of Mylasa, is kind of what I'm thinking. So here you can see the lions facing, or the scalp, and Apollo facing. But kind of the interesting thing, so whenever I was doing research on this, you see this head of Apollo being attributed to Hectomnesos, who kind of was the satrap of Caria at the time. So he would have had these kind of minted, with the head of Apollo is kind of generally what's attributed for the Mylasa. But the interesting thing is that the earlier coins, he was in power around the late 300s BC. And that's kind of when you first start to see the Apollo head being attributed on those coins. Before that, there's kind of a gap, but it's a lot of the lions, kind of that lion facing profile, which we do see here on the reverse. But before that, there's a lot of this type, but absolutely no Apollo from what I was seeing, which is kind of interesting. So I've kind of wrote this very long thing here, but to preface, the Hectomnesos, his coins are attributed to have Apollo on one side and a lion generally facing to the left. But this coin is different because it's got a combination of the facing head of the lion. It's not facing to the left, but then you also have the Apollo, which is kind of interesting. So kind of my assumption with this one is it was created either at the very start of his rule, to kind of blend in that old style with the new style, and it's kind of, a trial strike, or a very early coin in his reign, or we kind of saw this go in motion a bit before he was the satrap, and it's kind of, something that we'll probably never know. But I just thought it was interesting because like I said, if you want to look on your own, it doesn't match any references that I could find for this front-facing head of the lion. and the Greek coin, or the Apollo head. And like I said, this is a quarter of an oval, and this is a tiny coin. So, here's my hand. I don't have a small hand. I mean, even here's the flip. You can see this is 1.5 grams, or 0.15 grams. Sorry. But so it was just kind of interesting going through the research process to figure out kind of what this one was. Yeah, just thought it was a cool coin. Put it at the end of the video. But yeah, like I said, show went well for me. I heard it went well for a lot of other dealers. If you have any questions, all I mainly did was the foreign, and I was searching for seated halves, as well as ancients and kind of more of that early foreign stuff. Here's kind of an interesting coin, I guess. I can show really quick. This coin is already sold, just waiting for payment. But here is a 1861 half dollar. A nice Unk coin. Very, very cool. I didn't want to staple it because I might have had to take it out again. I don't really like staples around my coins. So I'll give you a second if you're familiar with the series. You probably already know where you're looking. But I will attempt to drop my camera, and I'll zoom in really quick. And here you can see this olive branch, or this olive bud, and you can see that there's a die crack through it. So what that means is that this is the Confederate States issue. So after Louisiana, seceded from the Union, this is a coin that was attributed to the Confederate state of Louisiana in the New Orleans branch. And we know that because some archaeological evidence of kind of the shipwrecks that took off and were sunk by the Union is kind of one of the big determining factors there. But yeah, so already sold this coin, but it was a great coin to own for a little bit. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.